Get ready to delight your visitors like never before. In this tutorial, you will learn to create an eye-catching 3D button with unique click animation that can positively impact the user experience, making your website more engaging and enjoyable for your visitors. So let's get started. First, we begin with creating a basic HTML structure and linking the external CSS file. Inside the body section, we will create a div with event listeners for click animation. Inside the class cube, we will create another divs with 6 faces of the cube: front, back, top, bottom, right, left. And finally, we will link the external JavaScript file. So here's the JavaScript function. It will toggle the click class on the div cube. So here's the CSS. Inside the body section, we will create the height 100 VH, view height, display flex, justify content center, align items center, perspective 100 pixels. This will add the perspective for the 3D effect. Now we will also create the background linear gradient, and we will angle it to 135 degrees, and it will begin with dark red and end with blue. So you can adjust the gradient colors here later on. CSS variables to set. Okay, inside the root section, we will create cube height, cube width and cube length. We will set all of these to 100 pixels. Next, we will style our div. The whole cube will be the position for the whole cube will be relative. The width will be cube width, the height will be cube height. Transform style will be preserve 3D. Transform, we will rotate it to -30 degrees and rotate Y to 45 degrees. So you will understand this once you see the preview of it. Transform origin will be center. This is by default, but in case if there is some problem with other browsers, it's better to keep it. We will set the transition to transform 0.3 seconds ease. This will make the transition smooth for rotation animation. Next, we will add the cube click properties. We will put the animation to animate height. Now we will create animate height later on. In the cube clicked, we will set up the animation for 0.3 seconds. This will be the top portion of the cube. We will set the color red and we will transform it to these angles. Now we will set the animation for 3 seconds. So this is a bit of slow animation for color changing and also the transformation of the top element, like you have seen in the beginning of this video. Now we will set up the keyframes for color effect, and also with the color effect we are going to transform it at the time of initially it will be the way it is. So we will add the property inherit. In between there will be 50%, color will be red as it is, and transform to some angles, and next we will again transform it to some other angles as you can see in the video. So you can adjust these angles -5 degree or something else if you like to make a little bit of variation. Now adding rotation animation and hovering on the cube. Adding a rotation animation when hovering on the cube. Set the transform origin to center again. Styling for the 6 faces of the cube. When you click on something, it usually gets selected. So to prevent the text selection on the faces, we have to put the user select none. Next, display flex. In order to put it into center, we will use justify content center property, align item center, and position it to absolute, and we will adjust the font size to make the icon slightly bigger. Next, we will add the width, which is cube width as defined in the variable, and also the height to cube height as defined in the variable initially. Also, we will set up border 1 pixels and solid black border. We will also change the background color to black. We will change the background color to white with a slight opacity, with a slight transparency. The alpha value will be 0.8. Box shadow, we will add a little bit of box shadow to make it look realistic cube and enhance our 3D effect. We will keep the inner portion to white highlighted, and there will be a slight shadow at the edges of the cube. Now applying translations to position each face correctly. Let's begin with front, back, top, bottom, right and left. Now we will apply the translations to the positions. We will move those faces at different locations. The front will be at the front, the back will be go to the back, The top will go to top, bottom will go to bottom, right will go to right side, left will go to left. We will divide the height with half here, and also the length and width with half. Keyframes for the height animation. So here we set up the keyframes to animate the height of the cube. In this tutorial, we have created a 3D cube with click animation using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Each part of the code is carefully explained to help you understand how it works. With this knowledge, you can now create your own 3D animated buttons to enhance the user experience of your websites.